it's Alyssa coming at you with another slow fashion video. Just gotta cross my legs. This week, I'm talking about one of the things that I do that really helps me curb shopping and focus on what I already have. Essentially, it's a list of questions that I always ask myself before purchasing a garment or when deciding whether or not I should keep a garment or not in my closet. Some of these questions apply to that as well. So I think it's going to be a quick one, but I really hope you like it. Before we jump in, hello, welcome. I think I already said my name. It's Alyssa. Every week I talk about slow fashion with a heavy focus on the principles of minimalism. So using and loving what you already have and making smart shopping decisions so that you can create a closet full of pieces that you actually love and wear. So if that sounds like your jam, hit subscribe below. I post every Sunday. And for those of you who are coming back, big hello and welcome back to you. Thank you so much for coming back and watching. Truly, I know I say this every time, but really means a lot. Let's get right into it. This first one is a little bit obvious, but I always ask myself, with a whole lot of drama, do I love it? Like, do I really love this garment? You know, in French it's called the coup de foudre or a coup de cœur. It means that you've had, oh my gosh, wait, I know this in English too. I just like the way it sounds better in French, but now I've forgotten how to say it in English. Like a lightning bolt. You know, when you really, you try on a garment and it just fits beautifully and you love it and you feel like it's the only piece that you need forever and ever. That's how I think, as much as possible, I know it's not always possible, but as much as possible, I think that's how we should feel when we put on our clothes. Although this seems very contrary and opposite to the whole kind of, you know, thinking more consciously and minimally, because it sounds very materialistic, I think it's important that you really and truly appreciate your clothing and love it so much. Following this do I love it question though are a whole bunch of other questions that will make the decision process a lot more pragmatic. I think eliminating the emotion from making these purchase decisions can be so valuable in allowing us to make smarter decisions, because let me tell you, I could justify any purchase or keeping any garment in my closet just by asking myself if I really love it. You know, I could justify a lot of things, including eating a giant jar of Nutella because it brings me joy. I don't know, I think you gotta dig a little deeper. So the next questions will help us do that. Question number 2 that I ask myself is, does it fit? Could also be question number 1, because oftentimes you won't love something as much if it doesn't fit you right, but you've got to ask yourself, does it fit in all the right places? And that means, you know, you're not tugging anywhere, you're not constantly pulling down a hem, you're not always readjusting a sleeve or a shoulder. Of course, if you're looking for something oversized, whatever floats your boat. The biggest factor in determining if something fits, it's really all about the shoulders. Does the seam fall not over the shoulder and not too far in, like you know, your bicep doesn't look like it's bulging out of the side of the arm. I always find that if something fits in the shoulders when it comes to what you're shopping for on top, the rest of the garment can easily be altered, which is kind of like a part B to this question, which is, do I love it enough to actually spend money getting it altered? And will I realistically take this to the tailor and go and get it adjusted? And I think this is an important step to remember, because oftentimes it's that little teeny tiny tweak that doesn't cost a lot of money that can take, you know, a $50 blazer and make it look like you paid $500 for it. Does it suit my lifestyle? For the longest time, when I was working in an office, I would constantly fall in love with these beautiful vintage dresses and all sorts of garments that were sadly never worn or used because it just didn't suit my lifestyle. Sadly, it still doesn't. I have not become a princess, but this next question, does it suit my personal style? And this one can be a little bit more tricky if you haven't quite figured out what your personal style is. But in all honesty, a lot of times everybody's personal style is still fluctuating. It's very normal and natural for us to evolve as our tastes change and as our lives and lifestyles change too. So this one can be a little bit more loosey-goosey. What I think can be helpful is if you have sort of one style icon, or you have a Pinterest board of looks that you've compiled that you really, really like, take a peek at that Pinterest board or go back to thinking about your style icon. Would this type of person wear this? Or if you're referencing your Pinterest board or your vision board, double check to see if that garment would really fit in there. I love this one. I do it all the time, and I think a lot of you do as well. Can I create 3 outfits with this garment using what I already have? Forcing yourself to do that little quick exercise of putting an outfit together will really help you determine whether or not that garment will get use in your closet. Finally, if it's an investment purchase, I think about cost per wear, and it's a little mental calculation that you can do rather quickly. I already talked about this in a vlog. I will link it up here in case you're interested. All you do is take the total cost of the garment and divide it by the estimated number of times that you think you'll be wearing this garment. You can really see the value that when worn over years and years of time, the cost of this garment really isn't that much. This next little series of questions is especially important if you're looking at the environmental impact of your purchase, and if you becoming a conscious consumer is really grounded around the fact of environmentalism or ethical practices. And these are questions that I've recently added to my list as I become more aware about sustainability and becoming a conscious consumer. The first one is, where was it made, or what's the provenance? Is it secondhand or vintage or being rented? Was it made somewhere where the practices are fair and ethical? This isn't always easy to answer. An app that I use very often is Good On You. It's an app that you can download to your phone, and you can plug the retailer or the brand that you're looking at in, and they will rank them based on environmental factors, ethical practices, sustainability. Not all brands are on there yet, unfortunately, but it is a really good guide, and you can also suggest brands for them to analyze and look at. Within this question, I also try to look at the construction or the actual material of the garment. Was it made out of recycled fibers, synthetic, natural fibers? If you can't find that out from the hang tag, sometimes it involves a little bit of research, but I really do think it's worth it. This next one I recently added, and it really makes you think, how easily can this be discarded? Is it made of a synthetic material that is going to sit in a landfill forever and ever? Is it a garment that I could perhaps turn into a rag at the end of its life? Or is it a more biodegradable fabric like organic cotton or linen or wool, any natural fibers? So that is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you ask yourself any questions before making purchases. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Hit thumbs up if you like this video or learned something new. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I will be back next week with another slow fashion video. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao!